Once again, welcome back. It's still Daybreak Africa if you just tuned in. Lately, there has been talks, particularly statistics coming from the Lagos State Police Command, talking about 111 defilement cases in the last 3 months. It's quite appalling. It's more like at some point where we feel the issue of say sexual and domestic violence is being kicked off, we hear rising issues. Now, I remember we spoke on this sometime last year, was a bit last year, and we thought for some reasons Nigerians have tended to actually tackle this menace in our society. But as it turns out, I guess it's still here with us now. As a general rule, the offense of defilement is actually provided for under Section 218 of the Criminal Code Act. The section states that any person who has unlawful carnal knowledge of a girl under the age of 13 years is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for life. And the funny thing, in spite of this law, people still go ahead to do this. It's more like imprisonment is not a sentence anymore in Nigeria. Now, it is even expressly stated that in the section that whoever is found guilty is liable for a felony, a grave offense which ought by nature of its gravity non-bailable, with or without caning. Defilement attracts a punishment of 14 years of incarceration. Now, I tend to wonder what exactly is happening, in spite of this law, in spite of this, this punishment, imprisonment, and, tendency of not even being bailed out anytime soon. People still engage in this act. Well, nonetheless, we have ADERONKE OGUNLADE, public affairs analyst, to do justice to this topic. Welcome on Daybreak Africa once again, man.
Yeah.
A very good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
I must say it's been a while. I was on the set with you, I don't know if you've been coming, but it's been a while. Now, we have a very, I can't say it's kind of interesting, but it's a topic that is a very serious one that we should talk about. And talking about what Ezekiel said earlier, the cases are gradually, in fact, they are very much on the rise presently. In Lagos, we had
just
very,
the state,
imagine just that, the number is very much high. Now, statistically, we still have it that just 60% of them have not even been reported. So imagine us having that high stat with just 40% being reported. So right now, I will ask you, why do you think we are having this again? Because when we felt, just as Ezekiel said earlier, so he said we thought this has been gone. But now we're having it again, and not just 1, 2. It's seriously on the rise. Why do we have such again?
When we have to talk about defilement here and there, there are a lot of causes. For instance, in the case of that Lagos 111. So I think it is quite possible in that area due to the situation of maybe the kind of environment they find themselves. In some, I once stayed in Lagos State, in a situation whereby you have like 6 people sleeping in a room, the father, the mother, and the children. And in that children, not children of maybe like 4 years, 5 years, they have girls of like 13, 14, 15 years. They'll be sleeping together with their father every day, waking up with their father every day in the same room. Most time when the girl child is not, maybe she wants to dress up, before the father she will dress up. I think that is major #1 causes. Whereby there is no convenient accommodation for family. That one is sold out. That is why we have a lot of it in Lagos. And apart from maybe the family setup to even within neighbors, this kind of things, when it happens, it is not the causer that will be the victim. In a situation where some people, the way they dress, most especially in Lagos, as a man, you see something that is not pleasant to your looking, you may not attack that person immediately, but it will be in your body. The man will need someone to have a sexual knowledge with, a sexual intercourse with. So it will be the next person that will be a victim. It could be his daughter, it could be his neighbor, it could be a daughter to his friend, it could be anybody. So other causes is indecent dressing. So some people may think it's not an enough excuse. It is enough. You can't be, even you are hungry and here is a plate of fried rice with chicken in front of you, and you are telling me it's not an enough reason for you to eat. It's enough reason. Indecent dressing. You may not be the victim, you dress indecent, but another fellow will be the victim. you know, maybe the whole day your mind will be there, everything about that man will be there. Now getting back home, he has a daughter that is maybe around 14 there, because defilement happens between the age below 18. And why 18 and above, we term that to be rape without consent. So he's having a child at home that he can have a kind of knowledge of her, or maybe a neighbor right in the bedroom, or anywhere it can happen. So he decide dressing. Another time, lack of parental care, you know, in Lagos and every other places. The way we just abandon a girl child, even boy child, it is not only girl child that is being abused in this kind of situation. A boy child can also be defied by an elderly person. So the way our parents, especially mothers, you know, we believe our father, we have to hustle to look for one or two things to bring down to the table. Now the children are with the mother at times. We can see in some cases for like 30 minutes a mother will not know where a child is. Bimbo, Henry, where are you? Look, just especially in Lagos, where people, you know, not everybody are with their right senses. So you should be well attentive to your children. You should be vigilant, and don't just abandon them. When they're back from school, after eating your assignment, after the assignment, okay, sit down in that place where I can easily see you. Not playing at the backyard where I can see you, that somebody will just drag inside the room. So lack of parental care, lack of parental availability, especially Lagos. Mother, they'll be living in Yanapada, they'll be working at Ikoyi. Everybody will be out in the morning, hustling and bustling. The children will be back from school and in the street, where maybe 70% of people are not insane. Just leaving them like a fowl, like a chicken. Anything can happen. And if that kind of thing happens, and if before it happens, another cause is, are parents attentive to their children? A lot is happening from morning to evening before you are back from office, before you are back from your place of work. And before you are back, your child has been seeing some kind of advances. Maybe one brother is dragging her, touching her. You know, when you tell your child, don't allow anybody to touch you, your private part, and somebody is already touching her, and now she wants to tell you somebody is touching her, are you available to listen to her? Many parents are not available. I'm very tired. The purpose of your tiredness, is it not because of those children? Especially boys really fall into defilement. It is most cases their girl child. So she wants to tell you something, but you are not available to listen to her. Had it been you are available to listen to her, it may not happen to her. And middle mommy, so Bra Matthew want to do this. Middle Bra Matthew, I hope you are not crazy. If you are smoking, don't let it get into your head where you, I think when two or people listen to that, and you will say, oh no, mommy, nothing, it won't do that again. And yes, you warn your daughter, whenever I'm not around, maybe I went out to buy something, lock up yourself inside. Or maybe it's possible for you, after closing, you and your sister or you and your brother come to my shop where I can see you, and after closing we go back home, the same thing. So in the taste of searching for green pasture or what to bring down to the table, at the same time we have to consider our children. We have a lot of courses, like Mr. EZEKIEL said the other time, that despite all the laws, despite all the people will still do it. Like I said, 70% of people roaming on the street, they are not okay. Most people, they are into drugs. And when they are into drugs, they can't control themselves again.
They're out of control.
When you are into drugs, you are out of your senses. So anything available, when you see a girl of 10 years old, she will look like a girl of 15 or a girl of 25 years old before you. Because you are out of your mind.
Now the question is that statistically, where we got it from, and it shows that just 40% of this incident, despite us saying okay, it's on the high, just 40% have been reported. that means we have a very high amount of it not reported. Now, on the part of parents, or the part of you made mention of the parents not being around to even listen to their children and the rest, not being available for their children, and a lot of things. Now, why do you think these things? Because we have laws, as Ezekiel earlier said, we have laws guiding these things that, okay, when we report these situations, at the end of the day, we have things that are supposed to be able to be done to them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we still have all these things in place. But people are not reporting this because we've seen situations where you even try to talk to them. Some people, let me bring it to a very clear sense here. Some people are actually clergy people, like say pastors, and they feel like, okay, your child has been defiled. This is the situation. Some parents tend to protect the name of their church and what they carry as a badge, as maybe a man of God and this, and never want to go on to report situations like that. Be like, okay, let's just keep it. So why do you think these things still linger on? And if there is a reason behind it, outside what I've said, can you please share light on what can be done?
No, like you said, the number one causes we've said it earlier on. But we mustn't shy away from the truth, apart from the influence of drug. You know, day by day, as we sleep and wake up, a lot are happening under our nose. Some reasons are built on for diabolical and spiritual reasons. That is why you don't just have to open your eyes, close your eyes against your children. You know, many people, they've dipped their heads into things they are not natural. We mentioned of clergy, we have a lot of them out there. They went for spiritual consultation, before you know it, defilement has happened or rape has occurred. And the pastor will be telling you, if you should tell anybody you are dead. That is why we have like about 60% of it, they are not being into the public. So most of them, they are not done naturally. If you be now in those days where we have sane people, when people are not greedy, when people are contented, they are not like this then. But now we are the dispensation, everybody wants to ride the jeep. Everybody is taste for power. In some cases of some spiritual leaders, they want to have extra power apart from you can't take the work of God. Let him do his work by himself. But because of fame, money, popularity, miracle, they go into things that are not hearable. That is why we don't hear it outside. And in some cases, we hear some boys recently, they will just pick up girls, they defy them, using for ritual purpose. And that is why we can categorize them to that 60%. It won't be here. Even when most of them get to the police station, the police are trying their best. We rely on them. You won't hear it. When they get no justice again, those one will not be listed among the reported one now. That one is under the carpet. Then money is involved. OGAR, so you won't hear. So most of them are done for diabolical and spiritual purposes, because even at times, if even it is with a mature lady, if she's not ready for it, it is not enjoyable. Not to talk of a toddler. We hear some cases of maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't make any sense to you. It doesn't make any sense. So that is why you don't have to close your eyes, or you should be careless with your children. People are out there, insane people, that they are not ready to work. They want money at all costs. They want wealth. They want popularity. They want miracles in their church. So you don't have to close your eyes. The only thing I can just say in that regard is that don't put your eyes what it shouldn't be. Do you have problem? Do you have issues with your life? Talk to God. He's right there beside you. He answers our prayer. It's because of moving on with a prophet, moving on to a pastor, that this also, before you know it, you are gone. And you can't say it out. Because peradventure, you may be a housewife. Peradventure, at times, you wouldn't want to tarnish the image of your daughter. That is why we don't say it.
Personally, I tend to wonder, comparing the statistics, between the girl child and the boy child. It's more like the girl child, they tend to actually pronounce the defilement when it comes to the girl child. I tend to wonder what happens to the boy child. Is it that the boys are not being defiled, or is it that maybe the boys are not exactly given the same level of attention the girl child usually has? You know, it's more like it's always the girl being defiled. What about the boys? Are they keeping quiet, or are their own issues not being pronounced enough? Because you agree with me, there are situations where cases where the little boys on the streets are being dealt with in gruesome manners. I wouldn't want to go into details. So why is it always like that?
Anyway, I think it is not as much as the girl child. In statistics, if you want to group it, like let me just say maybe 20% of boys do find themselves in that kind of situation. Mostly it is with girls. Let's say for instance, if it is for natural or maybe sexual pleasure purpose, it is not pronounceable. A lady of my age, maybe 35, 40, having an intercourse with a boy child, 10 years. There's no pleasure in that.
But it does happen. It happens.
It happens. That is, maybe we call it nympho. But it is rare in some cases. Maybe just for maybe they will actually go into sexual intercourse. Maybe, okay, just touch my breast, touch my back, do this. They are not into the sexual activities mostly, because you can imagine a boy child of 10 years old. You can just imagine how would look like. It's not yet matured. So there's no how you can force that kind of. As a girl child, you know, due to the biological nature, the way they describe the nature of a female, it is elasticity in nature. Sure. So they believe anything can enter. So that is why girls are more vulnerable than the boys. But in prevention, we have boys that they won't just talk. Let me just say that. It is in their nature. A friend of mine have once accused me, said, "Ronke, you always fight for girls." Me, have once been abused when I was 14 years old. I said, but I can look at me. What is my own? Do you say it then? He said, actually, I didn't say it though. You know, a boy will always be a boy. You know, that arrogance or that pop-up nature is always in you guys. Right from childhood. You won't talk.
Sure. Would I really want to call it being pompous, or just as Ezekiel said earlier, like they are not given attention when it comes to situations like that? Because I said something, and I'll still say it now. In as much as we always feel like the women are the weaker vessel in all most situations when it comes to power and the rest, if a woman should just walk into a police station and say, "I got raped by this so man," mostly they won't even conduct an investigation.
Yeah.
That will just rush into the action. But just think of it like a man rushes to an hospital, into a police station and say, "I've been raped," or "My wife beat me." The society will take it in a different way. So these are the situations that I feel like is making it look like the boys are not being defied. Nobody's really talking about them, because they feel like you are a boy now, you are a boy, you are a man, you are a man, you can't be a man.
And he's also going to man up to. That is where.
Well, that's what the society has caused. That is my own question now coming in. What has the society really caused in this situation, both for the male and for the female? Because we are always saying the family. Any little thing we want to jump on the family. Now let's talk about the society. What has the society really caused here?
You know, when you talk about the societal norms, let me just put it that way. You know, naturally they believe women are weaker vessel. Like you said, when a man should walk up to a police station that he has been raped, won't you laugh? Let's be realistic.
Of course I will. But that does not mean I won't believe.
Why will you laugh? Because we believe, as old as you are, how will you just, we'll be asking you, how will you just walk up to that situation? How do you find yourself in the situation of being raped?
But instead of you asking such question, I believe that if you are into law enforcement agencies and situations like this, you are not supposed to work with emotion, you're supposed to work with facts. That is why you are supposed to conduct an investigation. So if you are laughing and you are thinking that way, okay, if I'm not a professional in that angle, I might possibly laugh, it can be allowed that you are laughing because you are not professional in that angle. But you are a police officer, possibly a high-ranked one, which you should understand some level of psychological things that might be going on. In as much we feel like this is a man, we don't know how strong he is, we don't know what really happened. We are supposed to conduct investigation. But I see that most times when men go to lay such complaints, they make them look like the laughing stock, and nobody's really ready to investigate. So at the end of the day, boy child, when it happens to them, they're keeping quiet. This is a situation that we'll find ourselves with the society. So how are we going to address this?
Let me just tell you this. Like you said, you are going to laugh. You know, we have advocates for girl child here and there. Do you know why we see it as something very wrong when a girl child is being raped? Because we do preach on that for them. They have a savior. The girl child have a savior here and there. People are ready to listen to them because we are people like us, while growing up, we pass through a lot. And we wouldn't want people coming after us to have that kind of experience. And that is why we just stood up and took up the mantle to give them enough of teaching and orientation about life. If I didn't see anything wrong in what I passed through, I won't preach against it. But when you talk about the man being raped, hello, men, naturally, they are opportunity in nature. Now, you don't have interest in that woman or maybe in that lady, and she seduces you, we are together, okay. Before you know it, the man will fall for that woman, believing, forgetting that that is not his initial intention. He will be carried away. And when anything happens, that one is no longer defilement, and we all know the meaning of rape. It has to do with consent. Before you know it, the guy and the madam will be going out. Should we call that one rape? It's no longer a rape. It is man.
I think what you're saying right now, I think what you're saying right now is drifting away from the question.
It's not shifting.
Because what you said right now is, I think, is a situation between an adult. So we can't call that defilement. But we're talking about children here. Situation that happened between an adult lady and a child, a boy. What are we really saying here? I think what you're saying here is still part of what the society is still fueling.
I think somehow you've been in this, should I call it a game, for quite a while, you know, being an advocate for not just the girl child, but for kids generally. Just how much percent of boy, actually, or the boys or the male child comes to you to actually tell you things as this, maybe they're being defiled or something, something gruesome or something bad has happened in respect to this line?
Really, we find them.
Didn't you, or haven't you come to a point where you want to ask yourself why? Because you cannot tell me you don't believe issues as this happen to the male child. So why do you think they are not